Welcome to a new deep dive. Today we're exploring intuition, consciousness, and maybe even a glimpse into the afterlife. We're going to be looking at the experiences of Jennifer Shaffer. She's an intuitive, and well, her path has taken some pretty unexpected turns.
Yeah. I mean, going from managing millions as a stockbroker to working with law enforcement on criminal cases using her intuition, um, that's not exactly a typical career path.
Definitely not your average 9 to 5. And to think it all started with seizures during her childhood.
Mhm.
Her parents, who are devout Mormons, believe those seizures were like a gateway to her intuitive abilities, especially since they were treated with belladonna, a substance, well, known for its psychedelic
It's
properties.
really interesting to think that, like, a medical intervention could accidentally open up these intuitive pathways.
Right, like something meant to treat a physical condition could end up unlocking a deeper connection to something, well, beyond the physical.
Exactly.
And it kind of makes you wonder if those early experiences shaped her preference for the term intuitive over psychic. Oh, interesting.
Because, well, she finds psychic to be loaded with negative connotations, often linked to scams and those, you know, carnival fortune teller booths we've all seen.
Yeah, it's a completely different vibe. Intuitive feels more grounded, like an innate ability,
Yeah.
while psychic, it conjures up images of something more sensationalized and, well, maybe less credible.
Yeah, like she's reclaiming the power of intuition, separating it from like the stigma often attached to the paranormal,
Oh, yeah.
but revealing these abilities to her Mormon community, especially her father, a Mormon bishop, couldn't have been easy.
I can't even imagine. It really speaks to the courage it takes to embrace your authentic self, even when it goes against societal norms or family expectations.
And her father's eventual acceptance, like his advice to focus on providing evidence and staying true to herself, that really underscores the importance of balancing personal truth with external pressures.
Instead of shying away from the skepticism, she seems to embrace the challenge of proving the validity of her intuition, especially in the realm of criminal investigations. So, what prompted her transition from managing money to using her intuition to, help solve crimes?
Well, it seems a case involving a friend's deceased daughter became a turning point. It propelled her into this new world, using her intuitive abilities to uncover details that traditional investigative methods couldn't.
That makes me wonder, did she ever use her intuition in her finance career? Did she ever get a feeling about a stock or an investment?
That's a really good question. I mean, we often hear about successful investors having a gut feeling about a particular opportunity, so it's totally possible.
Right, and now she's applying that same intuitive process to a completely different field. But with access to such sensitive information, particularly in crime work, there must be ethical dilemmas.
Absolutely. There are definitely ethical considerations to navigate. For example, in one instance, she knew the gruesome details of a young girl's murder, but chose to wait for the mother to raise specific questions before confirming what she had seen,
Wow.
highlighting that responsibility that comes with intuitive knowledge.
Yeah, it's not always about revealing everything you know. It's about discerning what's appropriate to share and when. It's
Exactly.
a delicate balance between accessing information and respecting the emotional well-being of those involved. It makes you think about the potential impact of such knowledge and how you would navigate those ethical boundaries.
Yeah, how would you handle it if you had access to this kind of information?
It's a heavy question, and this leads us to her perspective on Alzheimer's, a condition that often evokes fear and sadness. But Jennifer, she sees it differently. She suggests it's not a decline, but a liberation.
Interesting. How so?
Well, instead of viewing it as a loss of cognitive function, she sees those with Alzheimer's as disconnecting from the limitations of the physical body, almost like they're tapping into other realities. It's a perspective that really challenges those conventional views on illness and aging.
Huh. So it's not a deterioration, but rather a shift to a different state of being.
Right. And it raises a question, is it possible that our perception of aging and disease could actually influence our physical experience? Like, could we be inadvertently limiting ourselves by buying into certain beliefs about what it means to grow old?
It's certainly possible.
I mean, think about accounts of individuals who have seemingly defied the limitations of aging, like Moses or the Yogi Babaji, said to have lived for hundreds of years.
It's mind-boggling. What if our consciousness plays a more significant role in our longevity than we realize?
That's what makes Jennifer's perspective so fascinating. It's a complete reframing of how we view aging. And speaking of defying expectations, let's talk about Jennifer's experience with Kobe Bryant's spirit. Not only did she communicate with him after his passing, but his first message was, well, quite unexpected.
Oh,
His request to pinch her ass, which turned out to be the exact first words he ever said to his wife, Vanessa.
that's something.
It highlights the individuality that can persist in spirit communication, you know?
Yeah.
It's not always somber pronouncements or cryptic messages. Sometimes it's just Kobe being Kobe, humor and personality intact.
I guess even in the afterlife, some things never change.
Exactly. And while that initial message may seem lighthearted, the deeper message Kobe had for his daughter about a lost bracelet in Lake Como speaks to the enduring power of love and connection. It raises an important question, if personality and memories can persist after death, what does this suggest about the nature of the soul? Could it be that our essence, our unique individuality, continues to exist beyond the confines of our physical bodies?
It's hard to grasp, but it's a really comforting thought.
It is. And those specific details, seemingly insignificant to anyone else, provide a level of validation. They offer a glimpse into the possibility that those we've lost are still with us in some way. Have you ever felt a connection to a loved one who has passed, like a sense of their presence lingering?
I think we've all had those moments where we feel like someone we've lost is still with us somehow.
Exactly. And these kinds of experiences, while deeply personal and often subjective, they can offer comfort and a sense of continuity. They remind us that love and relationships can transcend the boundaries of time and space.
It's a beautiful concept.
It is. So speaking of a broader perspective, how does Jennifer view the current state of the world and humanity's future, especially with all the chaos and uncertainty we're facing?
Well, Jennifer acknowledges the challenges and polarization we're currently experiencing, but she remains cautiously optimistic. She emphasizes that humanity has chosen a path of evolution, not self-destruction.
That's reassuring to hear, especially with all the negativity bombarding us daily. It's good to know that someone who's, tapped into this other realm sees a path forward.
Right. She doesn't shy away from acknowledging the difficult realities, but she seems to see a bigger picture at play. She uses this analogy of an equalizer, suggesting that for every negative force in the universe, there's an equal and opposite positive force working to balance it out.
Okay, so this implies a sort of cosmic equilibrium, a constant push and pull between darkness and light.
Exactly.
So if we apply this equalizer concept to current events, could it be that the challenges we're facing are actually catalysts for positive change? Is it possible that these crises are forcing us to evolve and create a better future?
It's an interesting way to look at it. Could it be that events like the COVID-19 pandemic, while devastating, are actually pushing us toward a necessary global reset?
I mean, the pandemic certainly disrupted our lives in unprecedented ways. It forced a global pause and prompted many to reevaluate their priorities.
Right. Think about the rapid advancements in remote work technology, the increased focus on mental health and well-being, and the renewed appreciation for simple pleasures and human connection. These are all potential upsides that emerged from a period of immense global hardship.
It definitely shifted things. And it seems this shift in consciousness, this questioning of the status quo, is gaining momentum.
Absolutely. Jennifer observes a noticeable increase in people embracing spirituality, seeking alternative perspectives, and challenging traditional systems. It's as if the pandemic cracked open something within us, allowing more light and awareness to seep in.
She describes this shift as a crumbling of the old guard, with traditional institutions across various sectors struggling to maintain their grip as new, alternative approaches emerge.
Consider the rise of independent media outlets challenging the mainstream narrative, the growing popularity of alternative health practices, and the emergence of spiritual movements that prioritize personal experience over rigid dogma.
Yeah, like things are changing and it's happening fast. It's a fascinating time to be alive, witnessing this push and pull between the old and the new. Are you experiencing or contributing to this shift in consciousness?
Oh, absolutely. It's palpable, this sense of collective awakening and a desire for something more authentic and fulfilling. It's a time of both uncertainty and immense possibility, a chance to redefine what it means to be human in a rapidly changing world.
And what about those who are struggling with fear and uncertainty during this transition? What advice does Jennifer offer for navigating these challenging times?
Jennifer's message is simple, yet profound. Fall in love with yourself. This message, she says, is one she receives repeatedly from the other side.
It's a message that seems to resonate with her equalizer concept. If fear is the absence of love, then cultivating self-love becomes a powerful force for positive change, both internally and externally.
It's about recognizing your inherent worthiness, embracing your imperfections, and treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer to someone you love dearly.
When we cultivate self-love, we raise our own vibration, which in turn influences our perception of the world and the experiences we attract.
It's about shifting from a place of fear and scarcity to a place of love and abundance, recognizing that we have the power within ourselves to create a more positive and fulfilling reality.
And as we shift individually, we contribute to a collective shift in consciousness, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
Exactly. And Jennifer believes this shift is particularly evident in the new souls being born. She observes a change in the energy of these arrivals, as if the universe is sending in reinforcements to help usher in this new era.
Oh, interesting, like a new wave of consciousness coming in.
Right. She even finds it more difficult to sense the sex of babies before birth, suggesting a blurring of masculine and feminine energies. Girls are coming in with a strong masculine energy, while boys are arriving more fluid, less defined by traditional gender roles.
So it's like the universe is responding to the need for greater balance and integration, sending in souls who are less bound by old paradigms and more open to embracing diversity and fluidity.
Exactly. These new arrivals, she says, are locked and loaded to lead, ready to challenge outdated systems and create a world that reflects their values of inclusivity, authenticity, and interconnectedness.
It's an exciting prospect to witness this new generation step into their power and reshape the world according to their vision. And they represent the future, and their energy is palpable, a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely a generation to watch. And it seems the old systems are crumbling to make way for this new era. Jennifer observes that every industry, from media and finance to healthcare and religion, is undergoing a massive transformation.
We're seeing the rise of alternative media platforms, the emergence of decentralized financial systems like cryptocurrency, the growing popularity of holistic health practices, and spiritual movements that challenge traditional religious dogma.
It's a time of great upheaval, but also a time of immense possibility. The old structures are breaking down, creating space for something new to emerge.
Jennifer uses the analogy of trying to repair the Titanic with duct tape after it hit the iceberg to describe the futility of clinging to outdated systems that are no longer serving humanity's evolution.
It's a pretty vivid image. It highlights the need to let go of the old and embrace the new, even if it feels uncertain or chaotic.
She believes that nature itself is nudging us, sometimes forcefully, in the right direction.
She points out that it often takes natural disasters or other crises to bring people together, transcending our differences and revealing our shared humanity.
Like the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina or the unity that arose in the wake of 9/11. These tragic events, while heartbreaking, often serve as catalysts for compassion, cooperation, and a renewed sense of community.
Yeah, it's in those moments that we remember what truly matters, putting aside our political, racial, or socioeconomic differences to support one another and rebuild.
It makes you wonder why we need such drastic events to awaken our collective compassion. Couldn't we cultivate that same sense of unity and purpose without having to endure such hardship?
It's a good question. And this brings us back to the concept of the equalizer. The idea that for every negative force, there's a balancing positive force at work. It's a concept that resonates with ancient wisdom traditions like the yin and yang of Taoism or the concept of karma in Eastern philosophies.
So it suggests that the universe is inherently self-balancing, that even amidst great suffering, there's a force working towards healing and wholeness.
Right, and Jennifer sees evidence of this equalizer in her own work. She regularly encounters the darkest aspects of human nature in her criminal investigations, helping families cope with unimaginable loss and trauma. Yet, she manages to stay grounded by remembering that there's a counterbalancing force of love and compassion at play.
It's a perspective that can help us navigate the uncertainties of our time. If we can hold on to the belief that there's an inherent balance in the universe, we can approach challenging situations with more courage and resilience, knowing that even amidst darkness, light always prevails.
It's a powerful message of hope.
It is. So for those who are feeling overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, Jennifer offers a simple yet profound reminder: fall in love with yourself. This message, she believes, is the key to unlocking our potential, navigating these turbulent times, and co-creating a more loving and compassionate world.
It's a message that speaks to the interconnectedness of all things. By cultivating self-love, we raise our own vibration, which in turn influences the collective consciousness of humanity. We become part of the solution, contributing to a ripple effect of positive change.
And that brings us to a natural pause in our exploration of Jennifer Shaffer's world. We've covered a lot of ground, from her early experiences with seizures to her unique perspective on Alzheimer's, the concept of the equalizer, and the importance of self-love in navigating these changing times. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Jennifer Shaffer. Last time, we explored her unique journey, from stockbroker to intuitive, and her really intriguing perspectives on consciousness and even aging. Now let's kind of shift gears and focus on her work with law enforcement. I'm curious, how do her intuitive abilities actually translate into practical assistance in those criminal investigations?
Yeah, it's not like she just gives vague hunches or tries to predict the future or anything. She gathers specific details, often through really vivid sensory experiences,
Oh, wow.
that can help investigators narrow down possibilities or identify potential suspects or even locate missing persons.
So she might see images or feel emotions or experience physical sensations connected to a case. That must be incredibly intense.
Yeah, it's like having access to information beyond the normal senses, almost like an extra layer of perception.
Exactly. And what's crucial is she emphasizes that she's not in control of the information that comes through. It's more like she's tuning into a frequency, a stream of consciousness that's always present. And she's able to pick up on the um, specific details relevant to the case at hand.
Yeah, like a radio receiver for this unseen realm of information.
And it aligns with her perspective on Alzheimer's, where she sees individuals as tapping into other realities. It suggests that our minds are capable of much more than we typically realize.
It really challenges our understanding of consciousness and its potential. If information can be accessed this way, it begs the question, what are the limits of human perception? Are we all capable of tapping into this deeper well of knowledge? Or is Jennifer like a unique case?
Definitely makes you wonder what untapped abilities might be lying dormant within each of us. But shifting gears a bit, I'd love to kind of delve into Jennifer's views on humanity's future. It's a topic that feels, well, particularly relevant in these uncertain times. What's her take on where we're headed as a species?
Well, Jennifer acknowledges the challenges and turbulence we're experiencing, but she maintains a sense of optimism. She believes humanity has chosen a path of evolution, not self-destruction. And she sees these crises as catalysts for growth and transformation.
It's reassuring to hear, a message of hope amidst the constant barrage of negative news and global unrest. Can you elaborate on what she means by humanity choosing evolution?
Well, she believes we're at a crossroads, a point
Yeah.
where we can either cling to those outdated systems and beliefs that no longer serve us, or embrace the opportunity to evolve, to create a more sustainable and compassionate world.
And she sees the current upheaval as part of that process. It's like we're being forced to confront our shadow side, to acknowledge the systems and behaviors that are no longer working, and create something new in their place.
Exactly. She uses the analogy of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly.
Mm.
It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it ultimately leads to something beautiful and transformative.
That's a powerful metaphor. It's not about denying the challenges, but rather recognizing them as necessary steps in a larger evolutionary process.
Right. And she sees evidence of this evolution in the rising consciousness of humanity, particularly among the younger generations.
We talked earlier about this crumbling of the old guard, with traditional institutions struggling to keep up with this shift in consciousness. It's as if the old ways are being dismantled to make way for something new and more aligned with our evolving values.
It's evident in the rise of alternative media, decentralized finance, holistic health practices, and spiritual movements that emphasize personal experience over rigid dogma. These are all signs of a shift towards more decentralized, inclusive, and authentic ways of being.
It's exciting and, frankly, a little daunting to witness this transformation unfolding in real time. It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly significant. But I'm curious how Jennifer sees this shift playing out, in the realm of traditional institutions, those structures that have long held power and influence.
Well, she observes that every industry is undergoing a massive transformation. Old systems are being challenged, and new paradigms are emerging. It's a chaotic time, but it's also a time of immense possibility.
Like watching the tectonic plates of society shift, creating earthquakes that shake the foundations of our world. It's disruptive, but it's also creating space for something new to emerge.
And she believes this disruption is necessary. We can't just keep patching up a system that's fundamentally broken. It's time to create something more sustainable, more equitable, more aligned with our true potential as a species.
So where do we go from here? How do we navigate these turbulent times and embrace the opportunities that are unfolding?
Well, Jennifer emphasizes the importance of cultivating self-love as the foundation for positive change.
We touched on this earlier, the idea that fear is the absence of love. By choosing love, by embracing ourselves unconditionally, we raise our own vibration and contribute to a more harmonious and compassionate world.
Yeah, it's about recognizing our inherent worthiness, embracing our imperfections, treating ourselves with the same kindness and compassion we would offer to a loved one.
And it's not just about feeling good about ourselves, it's about recognizing the ripple effect that self-love creates. When we radiate love and acceptance, it influences our interactions with others and contributes to a collective shift towards a more loving and compassionate world.
It's a powerful reminder that each of us has a role to play in creating the future we want to see. Our thoughts, beliefs, and actions matter. We're not just passive observers of this global shift, we're active participants.
And Jennifer's work with law enforcement highlights the tangible impact that, aligning with love and intuition can have. It's not just about spiritual concepts. It's about using these tools to make a real difference in the world.
She's assisting in criminal investigations, helping families find closure, demonstrating that intuition can be a valuable asset in solving real-world problems.
It's a reminder that these abilities aren't just for mystics or psychics. They're available to all of us. We just need to learn how to access and utilize them effectively.
And that's where practices like meditation, spending time in nature, and simply paying attention to the subtle nudges and synchronicities in our daily lives come into play. These practices help us quiet the noise of the external world and tune into that inner voice of wisdom and guidance.
It's about cultivating a sense of inner stillness, becoming more present in each moment, and trusting that gut feeling that often knows the way, even when our minds are clouded with doubt or fear.
And remembering that we're not alone in this journey. Jennifer's experiences highlight the interconnectedness of all things, suggesting that we're part of a vast web of consciousness that extends beyond the limitations of our physical senses.
So our thoughts, beliefs, and actions not only impact our own lives, but also ripple outward, influencing the collective consciousness of humanity. It's a profound realization, one that highlights the importance of choosing love, kindness, and compassion in all our interactions.
Jennifer's story reminds us that we're not just here to survive, we're here to thrive, to evolve, to co-create a world that reflects our highest potential as a species. It's a message of hope, empowerment, and the limitless possibilities that arise when we embrace our true nature and align with the power of love and intuition.
And this brings us to a natural transition point in our deep dive. We've explored Jennifer's work with law enforcement, her insights on humanity's evolving future, and the importance of cultivating self-love and intuition as we navigate these changing times. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of Jennifer Shaffer. Get ready for some truly mind-bending stories, because we're going to explore the realm of the afterlife, specifically Jennifer's encounters with those who've, well, crossed over.
It's definitely a subject that often evokes skepticism. But Jennifer's experiences, particularly her communications with deceased celebrities, they offer a unique perspective on, well, the possibility of consciousness persisting beyond physical death.
It's not just like a vague sense of presence, right? She actually communicates with them, engaging in conversations with personalities like, Kobe Bryant, Robin Williams, even Steve Jobs.
And these aren't just like fleeting glimpses either. She describes receiving specific details, personal messages, even humorous anecdotes that resonate with, those left behind, offering a sense of validation and comfort.
We talked earlier about Kobe's message to his wife, Vanessa, that blend of humor and personal detail, a detail only they would share. It really stood out to me. It's not the kind of thing you'd expect from someone who's simply, making things up. It suggests a deeper level of authenticity and connection.
Exactly. And it challenges our conventional notions of what happens after death. I mean, if personality, humor, memory can persist, what does that say about the nature of the soul or consciousness? Is it possible that our, essence, our unique individuality continues to exist beyond the limitations of our physical bodies?
It really makes you wonder if those we've lost are still with us in some way, watching over us, maybe even communicating in subtle ways that, well, we might not always recognize. Have you ever had an experience that made you question the finality of death? Like a sense of connection or a sign that felt like a message from, beyond?
I think those kinds of experiences, while they're deeply personal and often subjective, they can offer a glimpse into those mysteries that lie beyond our current understanding. They invite us to consider the possibility that death may not be an ending, but rather a transition to a different realm of existence.
It definitely shifts the perspective, right? From fear and grief toward curiosity and even a sense of hope. Like, if those who have passed can still connect with us, it suggests that love and relationships transcend the boundaries of time and space.
It's a concept that's been explored in, well, various spiritual traditions throughout history. The idea that we're all interconnected, that consciousness is not, confined to the physical body. Jennifer's experiences seem to offer like modern day evidence supporting these ancient beliefs.
It makes me think about those who have dedicated their lives to exploring these mysteries. Researchers, scientists, spiritual seekers who have sought to understand the nature of consciousness and what lies beyond, the veil of death. Jennifer's experiences kind of add another layer to this ongoing exploration, maybe even bridging the gap between scientific inquiry and spiritual understanding.
It's a fascinating intersection.
Yeah.
And it's one that's, gaining more attention as people become increasingly open to exploring alternative perspectives and questioning long-held assumptions.
And Jennifer, she approaches these subjects with this unique blend of practicality and humor and reverence. She doesn't claim to have all the answers, but she shares her experiences openly, inviting us to consider the possibilities and explore, well, our own intuition and connection to the unseen realm.
Her story encourages us to, step outside the confines of our comfort zones, to question the limitations of our current understanding, and embrace those mysteries that lie beyond the realm of the ordinary.
Well, this entire deep dive has been an incredible journey from, psychic seizures in Wall Street to the complexities of crime work. And now, venturing into the afterlife, we've explored a vast terrain of experiences and insights.
Jennifer Shaffer's story has really challenged our assumptions about, consciousness, reality, and the interconnectedness of all things. It's a reminder that we're part of something far greater than we can fully comprehend, and that life, in all its mystery and wonder, is a gift to be cherished.
It's definitely left me with a sense of awe and a renewed appreciation for the infinite possibilities that exist beyond the limitations of our five senses. If this deep dive has, sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to delve further into Jennifer Shaffer's work. You'll find links to her website and podcast in the show notes.
And as you go about your day, I invite you to, consider this. What if our loved ones who have passed aren't gone, but rather simply existing in a different form? What if the love and connection we share transcends those boundaries of time and space? What if death is not an ending, but rather a transition to a new adventure? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing those extraordinary possibilities that life has to offer.
Beautifully said. Until next time, keep diving deep. And may your journey be filled with wonder, insight, and a profound connection to the mysteries that lie within and all around us.
Thank you for cruising with us on Podcast Cruise. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us bring you more intriguing and thought-provoking podcasts. Stay curious, and we'll see you on the next adventure.